as I stated, my name is Shelby Clatterbuck, and I am currently full-time faculty and faculty chair for Irvine Valley College's Human Development Department and faculty lead for their teacher preparation program. In this next hour, I'll be walking you through the intentional steps that Irvine Valley College has taken to develop a sustainable and student-centered teacher preparation pathway. The chat is open, so please be free to use it to write any questions that you may have. Also, you're welcome to raise your hand. We'll pause probably about a quarter of the way through, halfway through, and 3/4 of the way through to ask for questions. But I don't want your questions to be lost in thought. So if you want to write them as we go in the chat, and if you want to interrupt me, that's fine too, to just raise your hand if you have a question on something that is currently being talked about. We will use this chat also to encourage participation. So thank you for those of you that are already saying good afternoon. We're going to have a little bit of an exercise in the chat too in a moment where you introduce yourself and give a little bit of information on your own pathways to building a teacher prep pathway. So moving on to our next slide. This is our workshop agenda. It is really an overview of what we'll be talking about today. I will be talking about the web pages and visual resources that we've created in the last year. I'll be talking about our teacher preparation hub, which is our Center for Teacher Prep that we have created and designated here on campus. We'll talk about our academic career counseling and student follow-up that we have been intentional with in the last year. And when I say the last year, I'm referring to the last academic year or the current academic year that we are in. So fall 2024 and spring 2025. We'll cover a little bit about job opportunities and apprenticeship programs that we have been pushing for, our partnerships and our collaborations that we have sustained and created in the last couple of years, and also our sustainable leadership that we have created at IVC to help support our teacher preparation pathway. We'll talk a little bit about the data collection at the very end. And as we go through, again, if there's anything that you want me to stop and expand on more than I am planning on, then please just interrupt me. You're welcome to do that. Leah, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Just want to make sure that we're recording, Shelby.
Oh, thank you. See,
I
did forget.
I think we are.
Pause recording, we are.
Okay.
So someone started it.
I did, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, okay, great.
Good job, you did it.
All right.
Thank you. So my arrows are not working with this presentation. There we go. So a quick engagement. I just want to do a snapshot of who's in the room and where you are in your TPP journey. So if you can, in the chat, give your name, your position, and the institution that you work for. And then there's two parts to this. One, how would you describe your institution's teacher preparation efforts? So a yellow is just exploring the idea. A green is you're in the early stages with a few efforts underway. A blue is growing and strengthening. And black is that you're mature in your process and you feel sustainable. The second part is sharing any barriers and or opportunities. So type one word that describes your biggest opportunity or barrier right now. So I'm gonna, on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm gonna start this 1 minute. So we'll give you 1 minute to give us a little bit about you and your current status in your teacher prep program. Right. So we had a couple people participate. That's okay. We don't need everyone participating. So that's just a little bit about Vanessa. We have here as a student. Vanessa, what's ELAC stand for? And she is in the green stage, which
That,
is early stages. Go ahead.
that would be East Los Angeles, I believe. Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Yes, East Los Angeles College. Great. Welcome. Okay. So, oops, started that timer again. So here's a little bit before we get into the gist of everything. I want to tell you a little bit about Irvine Valley College. And Irvine Valley College is a 2-year community college in Irvine, California. We are part of South County Community College District. We are a sister school to Saddleback College. And we have been established as a small college since 1985, and we have currently moved to a medium status college this academic year, 24-25 academic year. We have 160 degree and certificate programs. We are the highest transfer rate in California to 4-year institutions. We have 15,000 students, including international students from more than 40 different countries. We have a very strong emphasis on student equity, inclusion, and success. And we have clear pathways to transfer opportunities, certificates, associate degrees, and employment. A comprehensive support system in our counseling, tutoring, and career education. And we have 40 student clubs within performing arts programs and as well as performing arts programs and intercollegiate athletics. So why a teacher prep pathway? So let me really quickly go back to, sorry about that. Lost my notes. Give me 1 second while I put this back on the screen. So, let's move this over to here and make that full screen. Find you again. Thank you for your patience. Share again. Okay, so can you give me a thumbs up or a yes that you are back on the presentation screen? Thank you, Leah. And here on our slide about why teacher preparation pathways. Can you guys, Leah, can you also just see my screen and not my notes?
Yeah, just your screen. Yeah.
Perfect. So why teacher preparation pathways? So California's persistent teacher shortage underscores the need for community colleges to establish teacher preparation pathways. These pathways or these programs can play a pivotal role in addressing the state's educational workforce challenges. So number one is the persistent teacher shortages. California has experienced a significant decline in the number of new teachers entering the profession. In 2022, the state produced only half as many new teachers through traditional pre-service programs as it did in 2004. This decline has led to an increased reliance on substandard credentials and permits, which tripled between 2013 and 2023, compromising more than half of all teaching credentials used in 2023. Number two is disparities in high needs areas or high need schools. So teacher shortages disproportionately affect high need schools. In the 2022-2023 academic year, 83% of teacher full-time equivalents, FTEs, in priority schools held full credentials, compared to 87% in non-priority schools. Moreover, students in high-need schools are more likely to be taught by underprepared teachers, exacerbating educational inequities. Number 3 is our geographic barriers to teacher education. So several rural counties in California, identified as teacher education deserts, lack access to teacher preparation programs within a 60-mile radius. This geographic isolation hinders the development of a local teacher workforce. Community colleges situated in these areas are well positioned to offer teacher preparation programs, thereby cultivating homegrown educators who are more likely to remain in their communities. Number 4 is community colleges as accessible pathways. Community colleges serve as accessible entry points for diverse and underrepresented populations pursuing higher education. By offering structured teacher preparation pathways, these institutions can facilitate smoother transitions for students aiming to transfer to four-year universities and obtain teaching credentials. Such pathways can also support career changers and paraprofessionals seeking to enter the teaching professional. Number 5 is addressing equity and diversity. Expanding teacher preparation programs in community colleges can contribute to a more diverse teacher workforce. Given the community colleges often enroll higher percentages of students from underrepresented backgrounds, these programs can help ensure that the teacher workforce reflects the diversity of the student population, which is linked to improved educational outcomes. Now, going on to our next slide, this is our, at IVC, our TPP mission statement. So our teacher preparation pathway mission statement that we created last April when we first formed what we call our TPP work group. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute on who actually sits on our work group. But this is our mission statement that we came up with. So the TPP work group's purpose is to create a supportive and accessible hub for teacher pathway students, guided by data and informed by student needs. Our mission is to simplify complex educational pathways, provide clear guidance on program options, and foster a community of like-minded peers. By collaborating with institutional and community partners, we aim to enhance students' access to job and apprenticeship opportunities while strengthening networks and resources that empower them on their journey to becoming impactful educators. So when we created our workforce, this shows not our workforce, but our actual team, our TPP work group. This slide shows who actually sits currently on this team. So we received funding in this academic year. It actually went about 15 months total. It started last April to fund a TPP consultant. And with that consultant, we also were able to bring on our dean of the School of Behavioral Sciences. That dean also is who oversees our human development department, where our teacher preparation pathway sits under. We also were able to pull on our dean of counseling. We pulled on our counseling coordinator. We created a program lead or a faculty lead, and we created a program co-lead, which is also part of our faculty. We brought in a student representative, which is a student, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but it is a student that holds our president position, board position in our Aspiring Educators Club. And then these last two were outside collaborative partnerships that we brought on to sit on our work group, one from a K-12 workforce and the other from the Orange County Department of Education. So forming the TPP work group. So our key members were faculty, counselors, students, and district representatives. Our timeline of formation evolution, we started back in April of 2024 when we first met to talk about vision and create that vision statement that I read for you. We then met a couple times in the summer, and they were more planning meetings, a little bit more of vision statements and bringing in what our next steps might be. When we got into fall of 2024, we created an inquiry to action plan. And when we created this inquiry to action plan, it allowed us to start making action steps. And really, we started to actually see things form at that point. And I'll go over those action steps in a moment. So our inquiry to action framework, the inquiry to action framework is designed to work off data, but it's also designed to give you a step-by-step process and follow you as you go. And so it starts with these, what we call opportunities, and you see the 7 opportunities that we have written in our inquiry to action form. In that form, once we look at an opportunity, so for example, the TPP web pages and visual resources, this was really our first thought process in how do we build our TPP? Well, we have to, one, get the word out. And when we look at our website right now, does it give students a pathway and an explanation of different pathways that they can take? So the one thing that across the board we all agreed on was that teacher preparation pathways are confusing. We also agreed that students that want to be teachers are across disciplines. So as most of you probably know, that in the state of California, to be a K-12 teacher, you go under credential program after your bachelor's program. What that means is that a lot of our TK through 12th grade teachers could be anywhere on campus. And how do we reach those students that want to be teachers and help build that pathway starting at the community college? So a lot of our talking and processing was, how do we get a visual that is easy for a student to walk by and see and say, hey, I want to be a teacher. Hey, I'm a science major right now, but my goal is to be a high school teacher. What is this teacher preparation pathway, and how do I fit into that? Of course, we have our early childhood education students. Those students are housed under human development in Irvine Valley College, and those students have a department on its own to help guide them through how to be a teacher in early ed, and that naturally goes into other pathways and going into K-12, for example. But reaching those students that are cross disciplines, that was a lot of our focus when we started thinking about the visuals and the web pages and the flyers. And I'll show you, because we'll go over each of these opportunities in different slides. Opportunity 2 was creating a TPP hub. We ended up labeling this hub the Center for Teacher Prep. And this hub is a place where we describe is for students who want to be teachers, either right now or in the near future or after their bachelor's and graduate programs, and how do we bring them all together where they can communicate and have a feeling of belongingness. And that's where opportunity came into with creating a TPP hub, which I'll go in more detail in a little bit too. Opportunity 3 was academic career counseling and student follow-up. So once we identify those students, how do we still continue to reach those students? And we'll talk about what we've accomplished in that as well. Opportunity number 4 is job opportunities and apprenticeship programs. We have had some legway this academic year in that, and we'll cover that when we cover that opportunity in more detail. Opportunity 5 is our partnerships and our collaborations, which I feel is key to that sustainability part of this program in general. More details to come. And then opportunity number 6 is a sustainable leadership and support structure for the TPP. So some of you may have known that teacher preparation pathways in community colleges, I want to say back in 2018, were given a hefty sum of money. And in that sum of money, they were to create teacher preparation pathways. But a lot of those pathways that were created, including Irvine Valley Colleges, seem to kind of trickle out. And so when we are revamping it right now, that is a huge goal as far as sustainability goes. How do we create or recreate this program? And then how do we actually keep it? And the leadership and the support structure is huge in that. And that is why it is part of our 7 opportunities. And then our last opportunity, opportunity 7, is our data collection and our tracking, which is super important for funding. And we'll cover what we're doing with that in a bit. So this next slide gives our first opportunity, and this was to build our website and our resources. So we updated our TPP web pages for Irvine Valley College. It used to be under our transfer center, and our transfer center is also who were the leaders in the old TPP program. They are still a huge part of our leadership with this TP program, but the difference is they're really not alone. They're not counselors that are pushing for this program, on their own, without the deans, without the faculty, almost more as a student service, and also only on the goal of transfer. You'll see when we go into collaborations that not only are faculty involved, but we have the transfer center involved, we have career ed involved, we have key people throughout all 3. So it's a big collaboration, and TPP in general now will be on its own as its own program, so that it is more recognized, not as just a human development program or a career ed program or a transfer program, but a program that hits a lot of different areas. And I'll show you soon several of our events that we did this year that really prove how teacher preparation programs hit many, many different goals of many overlapping entities within the community college. So in this last year, we updated our TPP web pages. We created a logo, which you see here on the left. We created a general flyer, which you see in the middle here. And then on the right side, this is our retractable banner. that we bring out to fairs, to Club Day. It sits also in our new hub, our Center for Teacher Prep. It also represents a window cling that will be on the outside of our building. And this is so that whole group of people that are hard to identify because they might be math majors or English majors or science majors, but their overall goal is to be a teacher. You know, I want those students to walk by the teacher prep pathway building or our hub and say, hey, what is that teacher preparation pathway? I might be here as an English major, but I want to be an English teacher. Is this something that I should belong to? So a lot of time went into what would be eye-catching for people that have no idea that a teacher prep pathway is even at our school and that they should belong to it. Going into creating our hub, this is a shared space also with our club. So our club is an entity that houses a lot of different majors. So it goes back into the purpose of TPP being cross-disciplined. And the club, I'm super proud of. They were formerly called Future Educators Club, and in the state of California, Future Educators Club used to do a lot. And when we first went into this year, we looked at what future educators clubs across the nation were doing, and there wasn't a lot that we could find. But our president, that is Avery Johnson, right in the middle here of the picture on your right-hand side, she connected with the California Teacher Association's Aspiring Educators Club. This has been huge in establishing our club, one, but two, giving these future teachers opportunities across the state that will follow them and connect them into their four-year institutions. So when our club went to their spring event, so that's what these pictures are from, in Los Angeles last month, they were side by side with students, not only from other community colleges, but students from four-year universities, from Cal States, from UCs, students that were just in their first couple of years of their teacher pathway, to students that were working on a master's and a credential. And so just that feeling of belongingness in this group of like-minded future teachers, and then being able to see different pathways that are still on that same goal, and then working with the CTA. So when we walked away from this conference, and it was just overnight, Saturday through Sunday, we walked away with one of our students, Queen, who is on the right side here, the second from the end. She was nominated and elected for a board position statewide. Rebecca, who's on the far right, she became a voting member for this, for representing IVC, but voting member for the CTA. And they, as a group, just really got to collaborate with people all around the state. It was huge and super teary-eyed for me and my co-advisor, Professor Donna King. That's her in the middle of the picture on your left. And just watching what kind of opportunities this is giving them that they will take with them as they continue on their pathways. And we'll talk a little more about events in a bit too. Aspiring educators, here's some things that they did this year. Well, first of all, on the left side, these are the awards that they actually got when they went to the CTA Aspiring Educators event from here. They walked away with 4 of the 6 awards that were given out during that weekend. you can see here that they were sitting alongside people from UCSB. There was Cal State Fullerton there. There was Santa Ana College there. These are newly recognized chapters in the state. But if you look down, number 3, they received a most notable chapter event award for a Future Educators Club book drive that they did. They collected books, over 1,000 books, to help LA fire victim families regain their library for children all the way through adults. They were recognized for that event as the most notable chapter. They also received this outstanding local chapter for being the most this was the most prestigious award for their excelling and empowering students and inspiring change. And that in itself was huge, not only for those students, but for our teacher preparation pathway as a whole, because we're in that planning stage and we're looking for sustainability. This whole aspect is part of what we can bring to leadership and say, hey, this is why teacher preparation pathway is important. This is why this is a program that needs to continue on and be funded. We'll talk about funding in a little bit. On the right side, these are club events that happened throughout the year. We had several four-year institutions come out and speak. Some of them spoke for one event, and some events we brought in panels, and those schools were able to talk more about the transfer side of teacher prep pathways, all the way from early childhood, child development, to the new PK3 credential, to multi-subject, to single subject. This was a huge part of informing students about different pathways. And part of that too, going back to what I stated prior, with collaboration with our career education department, as well as our transfer center, bringing in these guest speakers helped pull in a complete collaboration between all entities to really paint a picture for these students on what their choices were. And of course, it helps the four-year institutions. We also have had multiple presentations from early childhood teachers to a first-year teacher to a veteran teacher, multi-subject teacher, single subject teacher, and a principal. We're having a principal come out this week, and he's going to talk about the whole salary scale and benefits and what that looks like. Things that encompass such a wide, broad part of teacher preparation pathways that students don't always understand. In fact, I'd say a lot of times they don't get it until they're out in the workforce. Also, just some events they did with our early childhood center that is across the street. They were able to go out and read to children. They had a professor from another college come in and do trauma-informed education. So a lot of things across the board they accomplished just in this academic year. Next is our academic and career counseling support opportunity. This was also in our list of opportunities. With our academic and career counseling support, this was a priority for us. We have a counselor that sits, well, we actually have 3 counselors now that sit on our TPP work group. 2 of those are our designated TPP counselors. So these 2 part-time designated TPP counselors give 2 days a week just to teacher prep students. We also have, of course, our dean of counseling that sits on our work group. That also helps us to form that sustainability, but also reach those students that are outside of human development, again, that are cross-disciplined. Number two is our career exploration through permits and scholarship workshops. This is often done through our our transfer center in collaboration with our career education, in collaboration with our human development department. But there are events that are monthly that help students to come together and look at those different pathways and ask questions. Oftentimes, these are coordinated by our counselors, our TPP counselors. And then last, teacher preparation pathway, aspiring educators, career education, and transfer center. These are the four things that I feel that are all intertwined in our teacher preparation pathway. They all share or have shared vision and shared goals for these teacher preparation pathway students. And this collaboration between these four areas of the college is huge in keeping sustainability for this program. The three pictures at the bottom here on the left-hand side, that's actually a psych professor with our human development professor, both promoting our teacher preparation pathway. In the middle is a picture, actually AI generated, admittedly, of our Teacher Prep Thursday. And our Teacher Prep Thursday, we had events that represent all of these different programs, our pathways to teaching, that represented our transfer center, our human development employer panel, that represented our career ed, and our aspiring educators club. They put on their own event all in one afternoon, kind of like a mini conference. It probably brought in the most amount of students of all the events from the whole entire year because it was built more like a conference. And then on the right side, that is a collaborative field trip with the transfer center to UCI Cal Teach. And so we also tried to put in several field trips for our club members and our teacher prep students to go visit the actual campus programs that they may desire to go to. I think I want to pause for a second. Does anyone have any questions thus far or thoughts that you may have? All right, I'll keep going through our opportunities. So our next opportunity is under job opportunities and apprenticeships. So the teacher preparation program as a career education program or as career ed is a huge push, I would say, at the state level, but we are pushing it at the Irvine Valley College level because teacher preparation pathway is positioned right now under human development. Human development department is our early childhood education courses. And as some of you may know, early childhood programs are under career ed. And under career ed, you have a lot of support and you have funding. And so teacher preparation pathways, for some reason, at some point, were taken from career ed, with the exception of early childhood education. Those of you that are aware of career ed and what we call top codes, when you look at top codes of different programs throughout the state, if those top codes have an asterisk next to it, they are considered career ed. So teacher prep programs or teacher education fits under that career ed. And with the proof of that, programs still have a lot of pushback to call TPP or teacher preparation still a career ed program. So that is something that we really fight for right now, or we push towards, because in any teacher preparation program at the junior college level, we can start pushing students into the field as, for example, instructional assistants in any TK through 12th grade program, which gets them working as educators right now. So even though we're a pipeline to the K-12 or to the BA and BS programs at the four-year institutions, in the junior college, we can start them with undergraduate, lower division education courses and get them working in the field and create this pipeline from junior colleges to four-year institutions into credential programs. Now, you may or may not know that many students that go into their credential year are not yet working in the field, and many have not taken education courses. So even our single subject credential students are going into their credential program without ever having any kind of pedagogy. So this is something that at the community college level, we can start with this pipeline. And this is also where our collaborations work. So we work really closely with, for example, Cal State University Fullerton. And we met with their bilingual education dean, who is in charge of that. I forgot what it's called, but it is the add-on credential for to be a bilingual educator. And that's a huge topic already that they are talking about. Thank you, Thomas. So when you go into this bilingual education add-on, they're already 4 to 5 years into their education and never went through any kind of pedagogy and any kind of education classes. So in collaboration with the four-year institutions, we are recognizing that need for pedagogy education now for those students that want to be educators, those teacher prep students. No matter what their actual degree is. And one of the ways that community colleges can do that is working through general education and those general education courses that can be cross-listed. For example, our teaching child socialization of a child course is both the child, family, and community course in early childhood education. It also is cross-listed with sociology with their general education class. Now, even though the child, family, and community is an early childhood education course, that actually covers children all the way through adolescence. And students, no matter what credential program or age group that they want to work with, that class would benefit them. And so going through a teacher preparation program that will help them to better prepare them, not only to teach and for their credential year, but to be that teacher that really understands child development, even though they're going in with a math, science, or English degree, for example. So back to the slide here. So TPP as a career education program is what I was referring to. HD employer panels. So this is our collaboration with Career Ed and our Aspiring Educators Club. That collaboration brings in employers from all over the county that would be interested in hiring either instructional assistants in the TK-12 world, or teachers and or instructional assistants in the early childhood education programs. This right now gets people employed right now that want to be in the field working with children. Apprenticeships, number 3 bullet here, is on the horizon for us. This coincides with the last bullet, which is our lab school challenges. Apprenticeships that you are seeing pop up right now on the community college campuses, most of them started with their own child development center. Our challenge at Irvine Valley College is that our child development center was closed in 2018. So we count on programs from around our city. We work really closely with UCI's early childhood centers, and we work really closely with Irvine Unified School District's early childhood program. And then we collaborate with a lot of the private early childhood programs throughout the city. But being able to start an apprenticeship program is a goal for us without having that center actually on campus. So we're working really closely with Irvine Unified School District, Tustin Unified School District to hopefully find an employer where we can add that apprenticeship program as well as job opportunities for our students and beyond. So that is what we're looking at future-wise. I've talked a lot about partners and collaborations, and I cannot stress more that these partnerships and collaborations are not only strategic in making our program sustainable, but these partnerships are what made us so strong this first year of our TPP program year. So our TPP program year this year was supposed to be about developing this program. And this program, though, in this academic year just went so much farther because of these collaborations, not only within our system, with our different departments, but also with our existing 4-year universities. We worked closely with Vanguard University and Chapman University, who have a couple of brand new credential programs. We work closely with Cal State University Fullerton and Long Beach. We work closely with UCI, and we also have had UCLA come out and speak, understanding that UCLA, sorry about that, understanding that UCLA is a dream school for some of our students, like in the picture on your left-hand side, that is our president of our Future Educators Club, or our Aspiring Educators Club. You've seen her in other pictures. Her name is Avery Johnson, and her story relates to bullet number 2. And with bullet number 2, we work with dual enrollment pretty largely Tustin Unified and Irvine Unified School District, and developing this teacher preparation program. When we first started developing it, it was more geared towards just early childhood. And we, this academic year, have been able to develop it where it can go 2 different directions. So the first 2 courses out of a 2-year program are our foundational courses, so child growth and development and socialization of a child, family, and community. Those hit all age groups, and then you can either veer towards K-12 or TK-12, or you can veer towards early childhood. This story of Avery's pathway, she did the 2-year program at Beckman College. She knew she wanted to do elementary teaching, even though the 2-year program at Beckman at that time was an early childhood education certificate. But she graduated from Beckman High School with an early childhood education certificate for an associate teacher. She coordinated her other dual enrollment classes so that when she entered Irvine Valley College at the beginning of this academic year. She entered as a second-year student. She finished this year with a whole lot of experiences, president of Aspiring Educators Club, CTA AE member, and she also was our student voice on our work group, and she's left quite a legacy at Irvine Valley College. But her story for this slide really is that dual enrollment student through the community college and onto the four-year institutions. And she's a success story, and she also is again someone that really has made a difference in this TPP programming year. I credit her efforts to a lot of things. On the right side here is our field trip to the Road to Teaching Conference, which is a Santa Ana College conference. They've been doing this for many years. Their teacher preparation program is very established. Their apprenticeship programs continue to grow. One thing regarding apprenticeship programs back in the other slide that I mentioned, that a lot of the community colleges with apprenticeship programs have started in early childhood education, which Santa Ana College also did. But Santa Ana College has also found a way to offer apprenticeship programs, teacher preparation programs, and utilize school district after school programs for those TPP students that want to go into that TK through 12 side of teaching. They also now have apprenticeship programs for TPP students that want to eventually teach at community colleges. So that partnership with IVC is really, we're looking at them, what they did, and using a lot of great ideas. And it's a goal for us to get there. And we're much smaller than Santa Ana College, but we're small and mighty. Almost done, and then we'll open it up for questions for this last 5 minutes. So leadership and budget for sustainability. Number one, internal leadership model. So one of the largest pluses in our sustainability and strength as a TPP program is that we have 2 deans that sit on our work group, one from our School of Social and Behavioral Sciences and one from our counseling department. Our internal leadership is part of our voice, and they're vetted into this TPP, this idea of TPP. And even for them, one of the 2 of them came with some knowledge of teacher prep programs, but the other one really was learning as we went. And once people really hear and understand the importance of teacher preparation programs, they're bought in. But how do we get our voice out? And having deans on our work group has been a great connection to our VPI and then our connection to our president. Our budgets, so it costs money. And we were given from our VPI a 2-year budget. So it's coming out of the general budget, and they're calling us a pilot program. So after our 2 years, and our 2 years actually start in fall of 2025. So it starts this coming academic year, because this first year was our planning year. But we're already so far on our way that I say we have 3 years to find out, are we going to be an established program? Are we going to go under career ed? But what we've built thus far, for me, already shows sustainability. But we still have to fight, and we will continue to fight through these next couple years. But we do have a budget. We're under a budget, and our budget has paid for a consultant for that programming year only, but it has left us for these next 2 years with a faculty lead co-faculty lead, those counselors that are TPP designated, as well as extra funding that will help fund those aspiring educator club events. And then the other money comes from that collaboration with career education and transfer center. So we are pretty well established to go strong another 2 years and to really show why we need to be an established vetted program by the end of not this academic coming year, but the next one. So that will be 26, 27. And then measuring our impact with data, partnering with our IVC research. We're creating a SARS and a dashboard to event tracking, because after our pilot year, we are going to have to utilize the data to show the need and the response so that, you know, we can keep going. Future vision, additional district partners. We'll keep expanding events and, of course, a clearer data, and then reflection and group discussion. This was the plan for our last quarter, but I talked a lot and you guys did not have a lot of questions. But for the next couple minutes, does anyone have a question? Leah put a survey in the link. Here also is my contact information. You're welcome to contact me. I also put my LinkedIn account up here. I only use my LinkedIn account for building our teacher preparation program and our human development department. So that's also a way for you to follow our TPP program as it progresses. It's hard to see with the ink text color, but you can always go into LinkedIn and put my name in, Shelby Clatterbuck, and find me and follow our pathway as it goes on. But I thank you guys for coming in today and listening and staying through the presentation. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions now or anywhere down the line. And thanks for the extra information that you guys helped me with in the chat as we went. Leah, do you have anything to say?
Yes, just to remind them to fill out the survey, and we do have a raffle. You can win prizes as you fill out the survey every session that you attend. And thank you also, Shelby, for sharing your insights. I definitely learned a lot from that. I'm going to go over the recording again.
Great.
And yeah.
I wasn't sure I'd be able to talk for an hour.
That was great.
Thank you guys. I appreciated being here. Enjoy your next session, wherever you may go. It's 2 o'clock.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next session.